I always enjoy the everything I've knit videos that pop up every year on YouTube. I have never made one myself. This is my first year on YouTube, and I'm not nearly as prolific a knitter as some of the creators on here, but I am going to give it a go today. Instead of everything I knit in 2025, this is going to be everything I've ever knit. It isn't a whole lot. I've got 12 sweaters, a handful of accessories, and a few summer tank tops to share with you. So I'm going to go through each piece, let you know what pattern I used, what yarn I used, how the sweater is holding up, what I think about the pattern, and whether or not the piece actually fits into my wardrobe. I hope you enjoy. My name is Kelsey. I'm a creator living on Vancouver Island, Canada. I like to make things, and on this channel I share the details of my creative projects. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is just the first thing I ever knit. It's not a sweater, it's an accessory. It is the Sophie shawl. I'm sure you all have heard of it. I knit it in this sort of mustard, sort of green heathered yarn. It is 100% wool. The yarn was quite nice quality. I bought it at a local shop, but I don't remember what it is. If I happen to come across the yarn, I will put it up on the screen. But it is the Sophie shawl. I have to say I never reach for this piece, mostly because of the color. It is very warm. It's a great length. It's my first thing I ever knit. I probably won't get rid of it, even though I don't wear it a lot. There are a few mistakes on it, and I think that's just really sweet because it represents sort of the start of something and just when I was learning. So that is the Sophie shawl by Petite Knit, and if I can figure out the yarn, I will share it here with you. So I'm going to talk about sweaters first, then accessories, and then a few of the summer makes that I've made, a few tank tops. I've tried to put everything in order for you. It is probably not perfect, but it's close. So the first two sweaters that I made were designed by Goodnight Day, who is a pattern designer who lives pretty close to where I live, and they are like super chunky, super bulky yarn sweaters. They were both knit in a yarn called Rasta. I will have to put the full name up on the screen because I can't quite remember it now. One was like a very light muted pink kind of hand-dyed sort of looking pattern yarn, and then the other one was just cream. And I ended up selling these sweaters both to friends, but they just weren't things that I reached for. I didn't find them that practical. They're very heavy and chunky, which makes them warm and great for winter, but they're also very sort of like oversized and gapey. So I found them hard to layer. Like you couldn't wear a jacket over them because they were so bulky. But then the sleeves were so open, so you'd have to wear something underneath, and I just didn't find that they fit very well in my wardrobe, so I did pass them on. But this sweater I'm first going to share is the first sweater that I invested money into and just kind of took the plunge and knit a sweater that I felt really excited about at the time. So this is sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's knit in Knitting for Olive, heavy merino held with their soft silk mohair. I will put the color name on the screen. This was like one of my first successful pieces, and I was very excited about it. It is a great pattern. I made the size medium. It's got like a really easy to wear, oversized kind of casual fit to it. I would definitely make this pattern again. The yarn has held up beautifully. I can't say that I wear it a ton, but I definitely have worn it, and it has very little pilling. Yeah, so I would make this one again, probably in a lighter colored neutral or very light gray. I have to say I don't really reach for this one that much. My taste in color has just changed, and when I put it on, it isn't something that makes me feel really great. I also find like it's a very similar color to my hair, and I just kind of get overwhelmed by the color when I'm wearing it, so I don't reach for it as much as I should. I did actually put this one up for sale on our local Facebook marketplace, but it didn't sell. I was maybe asking too much, but yeah, I was kind of ready to pass this one on to somebody just because it is a great sweater and I don't wear it because of the color, but overall great pattern and would definitely make this one again. The second sweater that I made is one of my favorite things I've ever made. This is sweater number 11 light. I will keep this sweater for as long as it, looks good. And it was knit in Isair tweed in the color oak and soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive in the color oat. And it's this really beautiful gray, beige, tweed yarn combination, and it's just a wonderful pattern. It was knit on size 4mm needles. It's got twisted rib. I remember this one taking quite a lot of time, but I was spending a lot of time knitting, so I don't remember it being too bad. Love the detail going down the shoulder. I talk about this lots, how I much prefer when there's some sort of like accent where you pick up those stitches. So I don't know for sure, but I think there's something to do with how you create that shape for the back that allows you to kind of have these detail stitches in a nice way. I mean, I suppose you could do a row or two of pearls. When I look at this, it's quite cute. So it's the second sweater where I had to pick up sleeves, and I can see that I did a row of pearls. So the first, like my pickup round created a row of pearls, and I must have been doing it inside out or something. Like that was just a bit confusing at the beginning and I hadn't quite wrapped my head around it, but 5 stars for the pattern. It's great, and 5 stars for this yarn combination. I have worn this one a lot. Not a single pill. I've never depilled any of my sweaters. I wash them like once a year, and I just, try and wear undershirts with them and keep them clean and folded up in my closet when I'm not wearing them. I did pick up a bug when we were in Victoria. I was sick last weekend, so that's a week ago, and I'm much better now, but I'm still congested, so hopefully that's not too annoying in this video. But okay, so my next piece I wanted to share is this one that I'm wearing is the next thing I made. It's the Gallant Sweater by Kadri. I knit it in Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Marzipan. It's 2 strands, so it's held double. And this is also one of my favorite makes. I had this little tank top in the pile for the SOS, and my husband and I were cleaning up a little bit the other day, and I was like, oh, we just need to like get rid of it. And then I was like, oh wait, it's like the only tank top I have in this square shape, and I really like it with this sweater. So I pulled it out of the donate pile and washed it, and have put it back in my closet just because it's great to wear with this sweater. So love the color. It's like a champagne neutral. I think at first I thought it might be a bit too cool, but now my taste in colors has changed slightly, and what I think looks good on me has changed. So I've come to really like this one. So it's the Gallant Sweater by Kadri. I wear this one a lot. I wear it whenever we have like a dressy dinner or something that we're going to. It's kind of one of my dressier sort of looking tops, but can also just be like quite pared down with jeans, which I really like. So a great make, lots of success with this. Like this was a successful piece for me, and I would recommend it. And I would also knit it again, maybe in a color. I love the shape of it, the silhouette of it on my body type. So this was a great piece. And the next thing that I made, this is where the order gets a little bit confusing, but it is the Yoon Sweater by November Knits. It's a beautiful sweater. This was knit in Isair Jensen held with Isair soft silk mohair, or silk mohair I think is what they call it. And it's raglan with this pretty detail down the front, and then it's got a large ribbing section that is split on the side. So this is Another one of my favorite sweaters. I was kind of on a roll there at the beginning with favorite pieces, and this yarn has pilled. I would say I wear this sweater a lot. It's a few years old. I made it in the colorway that the designer knit their sample in. I will definitely put those up on the screen, but another great sweater, another great yarn combination. You know, there is some mild pilling, but I think it would be really easy to take care of. It's just kind of on the inside of the sleeve there. Yeah, would definitely recommend this knit. I would say I'm almost always making a size medium. Doesn't really matter the designer. My bust is like 90 centimeters, so that's usually where I will choose a size. So if that helps you pick a size, I'm not sure if that's helpful, but hopefully it is. And yeah, that's the Yoon sweater by November Knits. The next one is cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knit this in Isayer Aran Tweed in the color Sand, held with Isayer Silk Mohair. I believe the color is 6. So I actually think I have the order wrong because the mohair in my cloud sweater got used also in this sweater. But anyhow, they're a little out of order. But cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. You can see there is like a little bit of pilling. Overall, it's held up very well. This is just like a very easy throw on piece, very easy layering piece. It is definitely oversized, so I would have made the size medium. I don't think I'm a loose knitter, but I'm definitely not a tight knitter. I'm probably just, I would think, just right in the middle. Yeah, this piece makes me want to make more cardigans. Again, it's got that nice kind of stitch detail on the shoulder. It's a much sort of wider band of stitches there that goes down the shoulder, but overall this is a great piece. I did learn something about buttons on this one, so when I sewed on the buttons, as you can see, I did put a little button on the back just for stabilizing, and then had this tortoise button on the front, but I didn't leave room back here. Like, I knit this quite tight, so there isn't actually a lot of room for the fabric in the upper piece of the button band to nestle in there. So it's fine, but it's like definitely kind of tight, and I think it causes the button band to sort of like, you can almost see that it ripples here or like sticks out a little bit just because it's not nestling in very well. I could easily go back and fix that if I felt like it, and I probably will at some point because this is like quite a classic, beautiful sweater that I love. This one I wear, I wouldn't say I wear it a ton. It is quite like bulky. I tend to cuff the sleeves just because the sleeves are quite long on it, but I like the look, and yeah, it's the cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is another successful make. Very little pilling on this one. Okay, the cloud sweater by Petite Knit. I'm sure this is a sweater many of you have seen before. I knit it in the recommended yarn. I knit it in the same color that the designer knit their sample in. It is just like a big, comfy, cozy sweater. Again, I've never depilled any of my sweaters, so this is after a few years of wear, and you can see, you know, it does have some fuzz on it and some like fuzz that gets a little bit like stuck together and creates little pills. It's got this lovely little few rows of rib, but with a few rows of knits, and then just a simple bind off which rolls a little bit, which is sweet. The one thing that I did differently with this sweater is the way that she has you bind off the neckline was too tight for my head. I could get it over, but I found, like, I felt like it was like it would be like taking off my makeup when I pulled it over my head. So I went back, I pulled it out. It was not easy to pull back. This is, I didn't say it, but it's Isair Soft held with mohair, and it was not easy to pull back or to frog in this yarn combination. So I think I ended up having to cut it off or something. And I think I ended up just like picking up and re-knitting this neckband and then using Jenny's stretchy bind off, which I just found a video on YouTube, and now it is no problem. It fits quite easily over my head. So that's the cloud sweater. It's definitely like a throw-on comfy sweater. I don't know that I love the way the neckline sits on me, so I wouldn't say I reach for it all the time, but it is definitely a sweater that I love and will keep in my collection of sweaters. But I wear it around the house, and I wear it on more casual days when I'm looking for something just comfy. Sometimes I just throw it on under a big jacket when we're going out for walks, and it keeps me very warm. It's got, I'm just noticing here, it's got these like couple rounds of pearls right after you pick up the arm. It's also got that detail down the shoulder that I like. The next sweater has just like a pickup on the shoulder, and I'll show you what I mean. I don't like it as much. It's supposed to be invisible, but I never find they are invisible. So that's the cloud sweater. And my next sweater is sweater number 25 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is the first sweater that I knit in a bold color, and there's 3 strands of yarn in this one. This sweater really had, and in this color, really had its moment in the sun. For a long time, I wasn't able to track down the tweed from Isair in the lime color. It was just sold out everywhere. Anyhow, eventually I got my hands on it. So it's 1 strand of Isair tweed in the color lime, 1 strand of Isair mohair in the color 57, and 1 strand of Isair alpaca 2 in the color tweed. And it is just this like big, oversized, drop shoulder, simple sweater. It was knit on, I believe, 6mm needles. So it is quite an open gauge. And I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice, but this just isn't a sweater that I love. It isn't a sweater I reach for. I think I've worn it twice, which is really unfortunate because I think it was close to $400 Canadian worth of yarn. So it's hard to see this one just sort of sitting in my collection and in my closet and just not being worn. So I think the color is one component. It's very bright. It maybe isn't as easy to reach for, but that isn't it. I think it's actually just the gauge of the fabric is too open, that the sweater is lacking in structure. So it's like quite floppy and like doesn't hold any shape. I also don't think I knit the neckline as long as I should have, or the turtleneck, because it doesn't fold down nicely, and just even the way I did the tubular bind off on the neck, it just doesn't really like sit the way I want it to. So this is a tough one. I am contemplating frogging this sweater, which would be a good experience just to see how this yarn comes apart. I would be open to knitting this same sweater on a smaller needle, so like maybe a size 5mm, or I've thought about a completely different sweater with it. So I do have 1 skein of each of the yarns left for this, so I could try swatching a few different projects and see if I can get a gauge that I like, because it is like a very lovely combination of yarn, and the color is quite fun. And although it's not something I would always reach for, I think if it were in a sweater that I liked more, I would reach for it more. So that's the sweater number 25 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I think it's a good design. I think that the recommended yarn on the needle size is just like a bit too open. I don't think, I mean, I know I swatched for this and hit gauge, but I don't think I would have known that I didn't like that without doing it. So I did learn something from this one. It's unfortunate that it doesn't get worn, but I'm not getting rid of it, and I will definitely do something with it eventually. I guess another way that I could put it is I feel like the sweater is so heavy that the stitch gauge can't support the weight of the sweater. So even when I put it on, I kind of feel like it like pulls a lot around this neckline and it just doesn't have the structure that it needs. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that, or if they've frogged projects that have been knit like this for quite a while and had success re-knitting things. Feel free to share in the comments if that is something that you have experience with or have had success with. So that is my big green sweater. Okay, I'm just gonna lift up this next, my next stack of knits here. So the order definitely gets a bit weird here, but the first one I'm gonna share is the Amy sweater by Petite Knit. It is knit in Peer Gynt in the camel colorway. It's almost got like a striping actually that you can really see on the camera. You can't see it in person, so I don't know if that's just light or what, but oh, maybe you can see it in person, but not nearly as much. I don't wear this sweater. I don't love Peer Gynt on its own. It's a simple raglan. It's got this 2x2 rib. I knit it in the size medium, similar to the cloud sweater. You know, it's got the rib and then a few rows of knit with a edge that just curls a little bit. The fit, the color, it's just not a huge home run for me, and I don't reach for this one. The yarn is also a bit scratchier than I like to wear, so I should probably try to make a couple outfits with this, or just try and kind of incorporate it into my wardrobe more. This is definitely one that I would consider selling or getting rid of, just because maybe it would look great on someone else and it's just not working for me. I don't know that the color does much. Yeah, so that's the Amy sweater. Probably not a bad pattern, wasn't great on me. It does make me a little bit worried about using Peer Gynt on its own. As much as I like Peer Gynt, and all the colors that it comes in, I'm not sure I would choose it on its own for a project again, just based on my experience with this. And even just that like striping isn't great. So has anyone else experienced that? I don't think I had noticed it until now, probably because I haven't worn it much, but has anyone else experienced that with Peer Gynt? I'm wondering. Yeah, okay, let's move on. The next one was knit in the time of me having a YouTube channel. So these are all sweaters that you will have seen before. This is the Olga sweater. I knit it in 2 strands of Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the color wheat. And I actually just wore this the other day. It's cotton, so I wouldn't normally reach for it. You know, I'd be usually reaching for more of my wool sweaters this time of year, but I really enjoyed wearing it. The stockinette is really beautiful in this yarn. And the color is quite easy to wear, which is nice. I had made this comment before on one of my previous videos that I don't think cotton yarn or plant-based fiber yarns do ribbing as nicely. So as I said, the stockinette's really pretty. It's got like a lovely like drape and it's a lovely weight. But I think that the ribbing around the neck looks a little bit sloppy. I mean, it's not bad, it's just not great. So I would definitely knit this sweater again. If you're familiar with it, you'll know that it does have stripes. So obviously I omitted the stripes. I don't think I hit gauge perfectly with this one. It's smaller than my sweaters normally turn out, which is part of the reason why I don't think I hit gauge, but overall it's nice. I'm glad I've made it, and as I said, I just wore it the other day, and I put a little Sophie scarf or a little tie scarf with it, and that was quite nice. So that is the Olga knit in cotton merino from Knitting for Olive. So these are more recent shares. This is the Sunday sweater, mohair edition, size medium, knit in Knitting for Olive Merino, held with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Plum Clay. Haven't worn this one yet, haven't woven in the ends. It's definitely like a smaller fit than I'm used to with my sweaters, so many of them are quite oversized. So I actually do want to give this sweater a try. I think I will weave the ends in today and just maybe try and get it into rotation, so it's something that I actually wear and could comment on. I do love the really high neck. It's got quite a nice like structured neck that comes quite high up. So I need to wear this and then I could report back. But it is a lovely combination of yarn. The body is knit on 4mm needles, and the weight of the fabric is just really beautiful and quite nice. I wouldn't say it's the softest thing, but that is quite a nice combination of yarn, and I would like to try it again. So I would probably aim for trying to find a pattern in stockinette on a 4mm needle for this combination, just because I did like this one so much. So Sunday Sweater Mohair Edition from Petite Knit. This is a self-drafted raglan knit in Knitting for Olive Merino, 1 strand in fennel, 1 strand in elderflower. Haven't worn this one either, haven't woven in the ends, haven't taken off the stitch markers for the decreases on the arms. I think I mentioned in my last video. I don't really remember what I did with this. I don't think I took great notes, but I should wear it just to kind of test out that yarn combo. This is the only sweater that I have that would be the 2 strands of the merino from KFO. So it's got quite a nice like melange sort of color to it, which is fun, and actually fun as we head into spring. So maybe this is another one where I can try and weave in my ends today. This one, the baby sweater, my Moby baby sweater knit in double Sunday. And it is for a baby. He outgrew it before I could gift it to him. So it's basically just setting aside, waiting for another baby in my life to come along who I will gift this little sweater to. It is the first sweater I've done with all the cables. I mean, I think a trained eye would pick up right away that I swapped one of my cables here. I didn't notice like until well after I'd blocked it, and I was looking at it and I was like, oh shoot, I've messed up one of the cables. But overall I think it went pretty well. I found it hard to like read this mock cable pattern. It was easy to do, but I found it hard to read my stitches when I first got going with it. So I do think I made a few errors on that, but overall it's quite cute, and it'll end up with someone I'm sure who loves it. So that's the baby Moby in double Sunday. And then my more recent, which is the sweater number 14 V-neck from My Favorite Things Knitwear, knit in 1 strand of Knitting for Olive Merino with 2 strands of their soft silk mohair. I did make a Ravelry page for this, so you can see the details of the adjustments I made to needle sizes. There are some changes I would make if I was knitting it again. Similar to my other green sweater is the gauge is just too open for me, and I think that this sweater lacks some structure. So this also did turn out quite oversized, and I think I easily could have made it with a size down in the needle size. So I think it called for a size 6. I made it on a 5.5. I think I could have made it on a 5 and the sweater still would have fit. But it is a nice weight to wear. It is quite comfortable and very like lightweight and fluffy. And it is in a color that I normally would not have chosen. I bought this yarn just sort of like, I was craving some sort of color. I went to the local shop. This is kind of the only thing that spoke to me, so I got it. And I am quite happy I did, because it just taught me that I think I like these like more pastel colors, or at least I'm leaning to them right now. So I have talked about this quite a bit in my previous videos, so I won't go on too much about it now. But that is the sweater number 14 V-neck. I did add that little bit of elastic around the neck just to get the structure there, and that helped quite a bit. Again, this has that shoulder that I don't really love, where it's just sort of picked up, and even though I think I did it right and the stitches are flowing into themselves quite nicely, I just don't love the way it looks, and I think I prefer the sweaters when they have some sort of detail there. Okay, let's talk about the summer knits first. So they're all the same tank top. If you've been around my channel for a little while, you will have seen this. It's the Cami number 10 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is just a simple, simple little camisole. I've knit all three of them in the pure silk from Knitting for Olive. It is quite a lovely little basic. This is probably one that's like a little bit more cropped. I think I might try and find a very comfortable white tank top to wear underneath this one, just because I do find I don't really love how deep the armhole is on it. But overall, they are very sweet. They're very easy to wear. They're great when it's really hot. So I've made it in, I believe this was cream, which is quite a white cream. This one is powder. So that's the last one I made. This is the second one I made. It's in powder. I also bought this yarn in Brown Bear to make a darker version. Again, the armhole is long, and I did make amendments to shorten that. Like I didn't go as far, and then but still find that armhole is like a little bit too open for me, but still quite a nice weight of top, and I would still recommend this pattern for someone looking for a basic top. The last color I made one in, this was the first one I ever made, was cardamom. I made this one quite a bit longer, just kind of a little bit of a darker. I don't think when I bought the powder I really realized like, oh, I already kind of have a brown tank top. I don't think it's like the most flattering color on me, but still quite a nice little basic for summer. So those are my summer knits. I would like to knit a few more summer knits this year. I don't really have my eye on anything, but I could definitely incorporate some more things into my wardrobe. So I'm going to grab my accessories. Okay, this is a real hodgepodge. I can't say I love knitting accessories. I can't say I've had a lot of luck knitting accessories, especially hats. I do fit into a size large measurement on Petite Knits hat patterns, so I do have a bigger head. These, I'll have to put the name on the screen, but these were knit in a yarn from Hinterland, which is a local farm on one of our Gulf Islands off the coast of Vancouver Island. They're just like a chunky yarn, and I'll put the name of the pattern. It's like the Stormwatcher toque or something like that. Overall, like great construction to the hat. I did find they like really stretch out on my head, like they don't have enough like spring back or tightness in the stitches to have stability, and I found that they kind of just like got too big for me over time. So I did make this hat in a few different colors. I gave one away. The same thing happened to my dad. He ended up just giving it back and said, do you want to use the yarn for something else? I have this one. Holding them up, they like look quite cute on the camera, and they don't actually even look that big, but they are quite big. And I have a big head, so they don't work for me. I suppose I could try and give them to someone or re-knit them smaller, but it's not that like the fabric is nice, it's just the way that they like really kind of like cone out like that, and then around my forehead they're too big, and I always felt like they were falling down. So not a great success with those two, but I did learn something. The next thing I knit was like a little Sophie scarf. I think I just bought this yarn on a whim at a shop up island a little ways, and it's definitely not a color I like. I think this was when the Barbie movie came out, and I was like, I like pink, and bought this color. It's very like a Barbie pink. It's also the small size of the Sophie scarf, so if you've made it before, you'll know it's quite little. It's almost only good for a single tie. Not my most successful accessory, as you can see. I haven't even woven in those little ends of it. So it wasn't in cashmere. This was like Nordic Yarns Eco Cashmere in the fingering weight, which I was quite curious about that yarn. It's become kind of hard to get. I don't see very, quite often the colorways are all sold out when I see this yarn online. Anyhow, that was my Barbie pink Sophie. It's Valentine's Day this month. Maybe I will weave in those ends and wear it for a day. Otherwise, maybe try and gift it to somebody. This is a Sophie that I wear all the time. So this is knit in the same yarn. It's the Eco Cashmere from Nordic Yarns. I don't remember the names of these colors. It's just like a simple, kind of a similar tone to the thing I'm wearing. It's like a marzipan-y beige. A flat yarn. It doesn't have like any heathering. I think this is the larger size of the Sophie. I actually will measure sort of tip to tip and put it on the screen because this is quite a successful size for me. And if I were to make another Sophie and wanting kind of a similar look, I would definitely just replicate. I may have just done it to a random length. I'm not sure. I definitely did the same increase rate as the Sophie scarf, but I'm not sure how long I made it. But yeah, I wear this one a lot. I could use more accessories like that. So what's successful about this, the color is just easy to throw on with a lot of things. I held it with a mohair. This is probably marzipan left over from this make. And yeah, the weight of it is right. So it's a fingering plus a mohair. I would have knit it on the recommended needle size, I'm thinking, so the 3.5 millimeter. But yeah, that's my Sophie scarf. This one is a success. And these are two more recent accessories, so these ones are in order. This is the weekend hat. It is knit in Rowan felted tweed in the color treacle. Sorry, I was thinking about both those words at the same time. Held with tin silk mohair in just like a really deep purpley brown kind of color. And I did, because I was finding one of my other hats that isn't hand knit, or it is hand knit, but it was gifted. I was finding it like a little bit itchy on my forehead when we were walking, like when I would get hot. So I decided, because I had plum clay knitting for olive merino just in stash, I did a band of that held double in the inside so that that is what's against my forehead. And I have the same problem with most of my hats, is I think I just knit them too big. I think when I originally sort of try them on and I put them on my head, I'm like, oh my God, that's too tight. I don't want anything tight across my head. I don't want like my hair to feel all flat. So then I make a size bigger, or I add, for example, with this one, I add stitches. And then when they get worn, I don't even think I blocked either of these because I was didn't want them to get bigger, but when they get worn, they relax and then they become a little bit too big. So this one still fits me, and I still quite like it. It's a darker color that I actually like with my complexion. So, and I quite like the felted tweed colorways. It's got like a little bit of this really bright blue in it that I like. A friend and I were wondering if it's because the yarn is pre-felted, so the felted tweed maybe doesn't have that like spring back to it that just a wool would have because it's already felted. You can almost see like the shape of it gets so wide at the top here, and then across my forehead it's like feels heavy, like it's falling down. So possibly I'm just knitting these hats too big. I didn't do the double folded brim on this one. I think I prefer the not double folded brim. I would knit this again. I would knit the pattern again. I may even use that yarn again and just knit a size smaller. I think it's possible that I did not make notes on how many stitches, although I could count them. And maybe would do like one set. So I think that this hat is sized in increments of 8 stitches. So I'd have to go down 8 stitches to go down a size in this. But yeah, that's my weekend hat in rowan felted tweed and tin silk mohair. This is my weekend hat that I knit this Christmas. I knit it shortly after I did, I asked ChatGPT what my color season was, and it told me summer, which gave me all these like pastel colors, which is just like blown my mind because they aren't colors that I have thought about for myself, but they have really opened my mind, and now I like them and I'm gravitating towards them, and I like this hat on me. I like it with my complexion, and I like it with fit into my wardrobe. But again, I do think it's too big. So this is Knitting for Olive Merino in the color Dusty Rose, and Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the color Soft Rose. And it made this really nice, like, it's got some nice dimension, like that you can see the mohair core and you can see the mohair mixed in, and it's just got, oops, kind of lifts that Dusty Rose. So I made the size large, but because the gauge was off, I added 16 stitches, which what a friend of mine did and had some success with theirs. We both have similar sized heads. Anyhow, I think I could have probably gotten away with adding only 8 stitches. I don't think it's worth like pulling these back, but if I make another one in the future, I will do that. I did do the double fold on this one. I did not block it. The folds don't really stay where they're supposed to stay because I didn't do those rounds of double knitting because I didn't love the way they looked in all the photos. I kind of found that it looked like sometimes it rolled to the front and you could see it, and I didn't like that. But I might try and block this and then block those folds better, because I do find the hat is probably like a bit longer than it should be just because those folds don't really stay where they're supposed to. But yeah, that's my weekend hat from Petite Knit. Love the color. Definitely more open to some colors like this as I move forward with my knitting. Okay, the last piece that I've shown recently in my videos, it is my scarf number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knit this in premium cashmere from Lang. I have woven in my ends. I have worn it once. It is this blue. One of my lovely watchers commented that they thought this color was great on me in my last video, which is just really kind. And yeah, it's got this all over textured pattern. It is similar to the My Favorite Things sweater number 28. It's got the same pattern on it, which I quite like. I actually bought enough yarn to make, she has a small like fingerless glove that goes with this. So I think maybe I will make those, but maybe next year. I am pretty fixed on my Brady loop right now, and then I have a few other sweaters that I'm interested in, so I don't know that I feel like picking up another accessory. That might change, but I did buy enough yarn to make a little set. So I have, like I said, worn this once. My biggest complaint with it, and you can still kind of see it even after blocking, is that the way that the band was done, it's not, I'm not sure if it's an I-cord edge, but it's not the same way you would do with Sophie. It definitely doesn't have the same stretch. So the fabric has more stretch than the band does. So then you can kind of see it, like the fabric sort of gapes a little bit, and then the band feels quite taut. So I don't think that that's perfect, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And yeah, overall, this is a cute little accessory. It's definitely lighter weight than my Sophie. Of all my accessories, this one's the best. So that is everything I have ever knit from start to finish. I hope you have found some yarns that you might be interested in using, and I hope my reflections on how these sweaters have worn and how they fit into my wardrobe, or whether or not I wear them, has helped you decide whether or not you think you might want to make one of these sweaters. Thank you for watching. This video is getting a little bit long, so I think I will wrap it up now. and perhaps I will keep myself organized and be able to do a everything I knit in 2026 when the time rolls around. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting and liking my videos. I'm so happy you all are here. So take care and bye.